hands together now then, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Crich Tramway Village, Churchill, Winston Churchill.
A very good afternoon to you all. I address you all on this September day, 1939, as the nation enters into conflict. In this grave hour, perhaps the most faithful in our history, I send to every household of my peoples, both at home and overseas, this message, spoken with the same depth of feeling for each one of you, as if I were able to cross your threshold and speak to you myself. For the second time in the lives of most of us, we are at war. Over and over again, we have tried to find a peaceful way out of the differences between ourselves and those who are now our enemies. But it has been in vain. We have been forced into conflict, for we are called with our allies to meet of a challenge, of a principle, which if it were to prevail, would be fatal to any civilized order in the world. It is to this high purpose now that I now call my peoples at home and my peoples across the seas, who will make our cause their own. I ask them to stand calm and firm and united in this time of trial. The task will be hard. There may be dark days ahead, and war can no longer be confined to the battlefield. But if we can only do the right as we see the right, and reverently commit our cause to God, then with God's help we shall prevail. May He bless and keep us all. I thank you.
Thank you, Your Majesty. And now the Right Honourable Winston Churchill would like to address you as well.
Firstly, ladies and gentlemen, could we have 3 cheers for His Majesty the King? Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray! God save the King! Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your wonderful welcome for both His Majesty and myself. I must admit, I'm humbled to see all of you here, and I hope you're enjoying your rations that you brought with you. I can see that some of you are eating them in front of me now, making me very hungry indeed. I would like to read now some of the words that I spoke in Parliament to our combined House of Parliament, and keep you up to speed a little bit on where we are at this dark time in our history. Our struggle is protracted and fierce. Suddenly the scene has cleared. The crash and thunder for the moment, but only for the moment, has died away. A miracle of deliverance achieved by valour, by perseverance, by perfect discipline, by faultless service, by resource, by skill, by unconquerable fidelity, is manifest to us all. The Royal Air Force engaged the main strengths of the German Air Force and inflicted upon them losses of at least 4 to 1. I will pay my tribute to these young airmen now. May it not also be that the cause of civilization itself will be defended by the skill and devotion of a few thousand airmen. Let us realize that there has never been, I suppose, in the whole of the world, in all the history of war, such an opportunity for youth. The Knights of the Round Table, the Crusaders, all fall back into the past, not only distant, but prosaic. These young men go forth every morn to guard their native land and all that we stand for, holding in their hands these instruments of colossal and shattering power, of whom it may be said, every morn brought forth a noble chance, and every chance brought forth a noble knight. These airmen deserve our gratitude, as do all the brave men and women who, in so many ways and on so many occasions, are ready and continue ready to give life and all for their native land. The gratitude of every home in our island, in our empire, and indeed throughout the world, except in the abodes of the guilty, will carry on the struggle undaunted by odds, unwearied in their constant challenge and mortal danger, are turning the tide of the world war by their prowess and by their devotion. Never in the field of human conflict was so much owed by so many to so few. We have before us an ordeal of the most grievous kind. We have before us many long months of struggle and of suffering. You ask, what is our policy? I can say it is to wage war by sea, land and air, with all our might and with all the strength that God can give us, to wage war against a monstrous tyranny never surpassed in the dark, lamentable catalogue of human crime. That is our policy. You ask, what is our aim? I can answer in one word. It is victory. Victory at all costs. Victory in spite of all terror. Victory however long and hard the road may be. For without victory, there is no survival. Let that be realized. No survival for the British Empire. No survival for all the British Empire has stood for. No survival for the urgent impulses of the ages that mankind will move forward towards its goal. But I take up my task with buoyancy and hope. I feel sure that our cause will not be suffered to fail amongst men. At this time, I feel entitled to claim the aid of all, and so I say, come then, let us go forward together with our united strengths. Even though large tracts of Europe and many old and famous states have fallen, or may fall into the grip of the Gestapo and all the odious apparatus of Nazi rule, we shall not flag or fail. We shall go on to the end. We shall fight in France. We shall fight on the seas and oceans. We shall fight with great confidence and great strength in the air. We shall defend our island, whatever the cost may be. We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the landing grounds. We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall fight in the hills. We shall never surrender. And even if, which I do not for a moment believe, this island or a large part of it was subjugated and starving, then our empire beyond the seas, armed and guarded by the British fleet, will carry on the struggle until in God's good time the new world with all its power and might steps forth to the rescue and the liberation of the old. What General Vagar called the Battle of France is over. I expect the Battle of Britain is about to begin. Upon this battle depends the survival of British life and the long continuity of our institutions and empire. Very soon the whole fury and might of the enemy will be turned on us. Hitler knows he will have to break us in this island or lose the war. If we can stand up to him, all Europe may be free, and the life of the world may move forward into broad, sunlit uplands. But if we fail, then the whole world, including the United States, including all that we have known and cared for, will sink into the abyss of a new dark age, made more sinister and perhaps more protracted by the lights of perverted science. Let us therefore brace ourselves to our duties, and so bear ourselves that, if the British Empire and its Commonwealth lasts for 1,000 years, men will still say, this was their finest hour. God bless you all. God bless their majesties. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, 3 cheers for the Right Honourable Winston Churchill. Hip hip. Hooray! Hip hip. Hooray! Hip hip. Hooray!